Welcome, and welcome again to another DJ Wilson career STEM video. So, this presentation, we're going to be talking about effective decision making. Okay, so our agenda is pretty straightforward. We're going to be talking about what is effective decision making, the benefits of making good decisions. We're going to talk about two different models. We're going to talk about the rational model of decision making and the intuitive model of decision making. And then we'll open it up to some questions that you may have. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to define what this effective decision making is. Okay? And we want to say effective decision making is defined here as the process through which alternatives are selected and then managed through implementation to achieve objectives. Okay? So, effective decision making, in a sense, is the value or the quality of the decisions that you make in order to achieve various objectives. Okay? So, we're just going to talk about the benefits of effective decision making. We're not going to get into the cons too much. I think we all know what many of the cons are, but I do want to talk about many of the benefits. Okay? So, one of the benefits is showing others that you have good judgment. And good judgment is absolutely one of the top career skills that many employers are looking for. It, it's also a benefit is that you're more likely to have success if you make good and sound decisions. It also gives a great sense of personal accomplishment when you make a decision and things turn out the way that you expect them to go. It also increases people's confidence in you. So if I consistently see that you make good decisions, well, then I'm more likely to go along with some of the decisions that you make, or trust you to make certain decisions for me. Okay? And last and certainly not, well, not last, but making effective decisions can also save you a lot of time, money, and energy and resources. Okay, so obviously, if it saves you a lot of time, because if you make a good decision, then hey, you don't have to go back up. You don't have to go back and clean up a mess. Okay, saves you time because, well, I mean, saves you money because if you put money into making a decision and it's not a good decision, well, you lost money, and so forth. Okay. Some additional benefits of effective decision making are one, it is one of the most desirable career skills, as I was saying before. There's not many employers out there who are going to say you have great decision making skills and we love your decision making skills, but we're not going to hire you. That's very less probable. But employers are way more likely to say they question your judgment, they question your decision making. And if they question your decision making, then there's a chance that they may not hire you because they're concerned about the decisions you've made in the past. Another benefit is it raises your profile and sets you up for advancement and promotion. Okay, so again, if you're consistently making good decisions, sound decisions, people see that, they recognize it, and obviously, because it is a strong career skill, businesses will be looking for people with those particular skills. All right, so there are two decision making models that we're going to all right. The first decision-making model is called the rational model. And the rational model, and we'll get more into definitions of these in a minute, and the intuitive model. Okay? So let's get into what these two models mean. Again, there's way more models out there, but we're just going to cover these two. So the rational decision-making model is very quantitative and it's measurable. That's one of the first things that it is. It's also very data driven, and typically it takes a longer process to make good decisions because it requires um, a methodical approach. I can't, for some reason that word is always challenging for me to say sometimes. But it takes a very logical and step-by-step approach to the decision-making process. It's most, in many ways, it is most commonly used um, and highly and logical methodological practices. All right, so it has various like an outline of steps, identifying of a problem or opportunity, gathering and organizing relevant information, analyzing the situation, and then defining and developing a range of options, which is like brainstorming, evaluating and assigning a value to each option, then selecting the best option, and then act upon the option that was chosen. So for many of us engineers and scientists out there, this is just a logical method of how we approach various sciences and how we approach various problems to solve. Then there's the intuitive decision-making model. The intuitive decision-making model, it is much more qualitative. It's much more subjective. It's not it's not A equals A. It could be, A equals A sometimes, but on B certain situations, then A might equal C. So it's much more subjective. It is less structured. It is based more on emotions, and it gives a greater potential for bad decisions because we can act on impulse rather than based on facts. But again, there are a lot of very good benefits of the intuitive model, and one of those benefits is that it generally does take less time to make a decision because it's basing it on the situation, on your emotions. Okay. It's also based upon a pattern of recognition. Now, one of the things I'd like to say about pattern of recognition is, so for example, if you are evaluating a situation and you notice something keeps happening over and over and over again, well, you can use your intuition to realize what that pattern may be what might be causing that pattern, and then base your decision or base your response off of that. You don't necessarily need to go through a whole logical, rational decision-making process for it. Same thing, personal experiences. The intuitive model uses a lot of personal experiences, and it also includes personal bias and partiality and impartiality. So there's a lot of differences between the two models. Okay, and this last slide right here, I'd like to talk about sort of like a Venn diagram of the relationship between both the intuitive and rational models. You'll see right in the middle that both of them deal with facts. They both rely on facts. They both rely on perception. They both are data, and they are both useful. The intuitive model is definitely more emotional driven, so it's much more subjective. Decisions can be made quick, and justification is based off of your instinct more than raw data. Okay, and then you have the rational model, which is highly data driven. It certainly takes a longer time to come to a decision. It's more justifiable, and you have the greater opportunity for better decisions. It doesn't mean that you can't have good decisions in the intuitive model, but because the rational model, it does take longer. You're looking at various situations and you're looking at them over and over and over again. It does give you a possibility of better decision-making models. Okay, and one of the things that I wanted to do is this quote from Albert Einstein, where he talks about the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. in order to make sure that we're making the best decisions possible, I would argue and posit that there needs to be a great balance between the intuitive and rational decision-making process. There may be some decisions that can be made using the intuitive model, but certainly maybe some more important decisions might need to be made with the rational model. Okay? All right. And with that, thanks for watching. We'll see the references there. And thanks for watching. Again, hashtag go build something cool and fun. And I appreciate all that you do. All right. Peace.